I am in the Boundary Waters. Right now, I am at Sawbill Lake Campground, which is right next to Sawbill Lake, which is down the road from Sawbill Lake Outfitters. Now, this adventure is a canoe trip. Originally a 4-day, 3-night adventure, but as we got up here today, we got up here early. The weather conditions were insane. 35, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. You know, in a canoe on open water is just a bad idea. The outfitter recommended, maybe stay off the lakes today, grab a campsite, get an early jump tomorrow. So that's what we're doing. Also on this adventure, I'm joined by 2 other people. One is Mr. Jeremy LaCroix, Midwest backpacker. He's actually got his hammock and everything set up already, and he's just relaxing over there. And then an old buddy of mine from way back in the day, Mr. Dave. He'll be joining us here in just a little bit. But I already set up my hammock tarp. I'll set my hammock under it later. I also set up this tarp shelter because it's raining. Not only is it cold, it's about 43, 44 degrees, raining, 35 mile an hour winds. Set up the tarp shelter just to help keep things dry, keep firewood dry, give us the space to kind of go through gear, and just a little bit of a safe haven. So it's a camp day, and then hopefully this calms down and blows out of here so we can have a decent night at camp. Good morning, friends. We are on Sawbill Lake. We just got everything loaded up, and now the plan is to head north and try to get lost. But today should be a pretty damn good day. Came to a little campsite. It's on a little point on the east side of the lake here. But I think this is lunch. I think it'd be too exposed for camp, but what a great paddle so far. It's only about noon. We're on this campsite right on this little point. Good little lunch spot, great little campsite. Not great for hammocks, but for tents for sure. There's a good tent pad there, a good tent pad there. There's a lot of firewood that someone left. But this is not camp tonight. It's about 11:15. There was a bunch of people that were headed right out of the same entry point as us. But we kept heading north, and a lot of them have laid way back. So we're gonna head way north in Sawbill and look for a campsite up there. The temperature is about, I would say, 50 degrees, light breeze. It's a gorgeous time to be out here. Wow, I didn't think I'd be able to do that. Oh, you're hooked. Found our campsite. It's only right after 12 o'clock, like 12:05, 12:10. We're on the west side of the lake, which is protected from the wind because the wind's blowing northwest. But there's a lot of land back here to do some wood searching. That's what we have to do. We got to get a fire rolling because we got a big elaborate dinner. That's going to take like 6 hours to prepare, because it's going to be delicious. All right. Found some decent firewood. Requires a little bit of processing, but got a little fire going. We'll let that build. Dave took off to gather some water out in the middle of the channel. It's cleaner out there. We have yet to, set up any hammocks or tents or anything. Right now, it's about getting a fire going, because like I said, dinner is a 5-hour process. What could it be? Let me tell you why corned beef and cabbage and potatoes is a perfect canoeing food. For one, you freeze this thing solid as a brick before you come out here. And this not only acts as your ice for your cooler, but as it thaws throughout, 2 days, it is ready to cook. And the cool part is it's filled with curing liquid, a curing solution, and that preserves it for another 24 hours after that. But this is going to provide a lot of sustenance. It's got a flavor pack inside as well. And all you do is drop it in a pot of water and let it boil for like 5 hours. Ooh, baby. Nothing like boiled meat. Woo. Here's the master bedroom. Jeremy's set up right there, and I'm going to set up pretty close to him. I hope he doesn't snore too much. On most occasions, historically anyway, I've always slept and camped in a hammock, and this particular one is made by a company called War Bonnet. It's their Ridge Runner hammock, and it's a little bit different than some of the hammocks you see at parks and things like that. It's a bridge hammock. Bridge meaning there's these spreader bars at the head end. There's another one at the foot end that bridges the gap on the head end and foot end to spread the hammock out to create a flat lay. It's got your integrated bug net. It's nice. I can sleep on my side. I can sleep on my stomach. Just a very fantastic hammock to sleep in. And I've paired this hammock with a rainfly, and this is made by War Bonnet as well. It's their mountain fly, rainfly. But I had it custom made. I had it made longer. It's 13 feet long, the ridgeline is. That just allows these doors to kind of close up the ends a little bit better than a shorter rainfly would. But this particular setup is fantastic. It had a storm last night. I kept high and dry. It even keeps in some warmth as well, keeps the wind off you. This whole combination is the supreme sleeping setup for the backcountry. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Another cool feature about this rainfly, it's got these little tie-out points, and I just attached a couple of loops here. But I got these other spreader bars, and they're just kind of like shot-corded tent poles. Like those ones that we have. And they got these little like tent pole ends on it, and they simply are made to come over the top of the rainfly. You bring your little loops up and just wrap it a few times. And now these poles pull out the rainfly, giving you a lot of interior space. It's kind of a neat setup. The other really cool part I like about this rainfly is on the ridgeline inside. There's these like little metal rings, and that allows me to take the little bungee cord on the bug net and connect it directly to it. So this is home for the night, and as far as an underquilt, the insulation underneath the hammock, that's rated at 20 degrees, and then for a top quilt, which is kind of like a sleeping bag, is rated for 10 degrees. Way too warm for the current conditions. Some sprinkles have popped up, so we decided to string this monstrous tent up over the fire. As long as you keep the fire low, it's fine, so relax. Plus, the tarp is wet from the rain, so no melting. The only danger is if a big wind gust comes, or one of these fools trips and knocks everything down, now we got melted tarp fever. But dinner, you know, it's probably about an hour, maybe 2 hours away. Whoa. And then, like, the sprinkles, they just kind of came out of nowhere. It's been sunny all day. The water is beautiful.
I'll volunteer.
I set up my little tarp just to keep extra gear dry. But now we got that big thing. Today's been very uneventful and calm, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, boiling meat for 5 hours. And it's damn good. Damn good.
I was thinking about even getting like the ones you get at a wood shop.
No, for real. Had a really lazy day at camp. Great big breakfast with pancakes and bacon and eggs and some camp chores. And now it's time to explore the lake a little bit. There is some rain that has been coming off and on. Nothing crazy. Very, very little wind, which is nice. But I think we're gonna explore the northern part of Sawbill Lake. Yeah. We're on a portage. I think it's only about 80 rods to the next lake. I don't know which lake it is. I'll find out here in a sec. Now in the US we say portage. Everywhere else says portage. So we're on this portage or portage. It's about 80 rods. And how long is that in miles or feet? I'm not sure, but I'll do the calculation for you. Stick it on the stick it down there so you can see it. But this is the time of the year where it's absolutely perfect to be out here. We're early October. It's cool outside. The lows are in the mid 30s at night and the highs are in the 50s during the day. If we were here a couple weeks earlier, we'd hit peak fall time, but we're just a little bit past it. This canoe that we're in, that we rented from Sawbill Outfitters, I believe it's like a 19 or a 20 foot North Star Kevlar. Weighs about 50 pounds, but it's a 3-man canoe. Very stable, but doesn't maneuver or turn very well, but that's okay. We're not going down rapids, it's all flat water. This is Ada Creek. It's very, very short, fairly narrow, and then it leads up to Ada Lake, which is really small. No campsites on the next couple of bodies of water. So we're gonna keep exploring and find a good spot for lunch. And wait till you see what we have for lunch. We just took a little bushwhacking marsh bypass because there was another 80 rod portage. But the water is high enough to where we could just kind of skirt around that grassy area. And now we're on Ada Lake. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful in here. I expect to see a moose any second. That's the thing about the boundary waters. You always expect to see a moose any second. That's all right. We decided to hit the little marsh again. Like this is somewhere where if you got a small canoe or a kayak, you're good, but a 20-foot 3-person canoe is pretty challenging. It's fun though. Ran into a little bit of an impasse in this beautiful bog. There's a little beaver dam that we can't get over, so gotta climb out. It's just all this is just bog and it just floats. You can just feel it. So in the next step, you can just plunge right through it. That whole marshy section got us into Sloop Lake. Sloopy doop, sloopy doopy doopy doop. And then I think we'll come around and just take the portage we were supposed to take back and eat lunch somewhere over there.
This isn't Sloop Lake.
What is it?
This is Ada Lake.
No, it's not. This is Ada Lake? I've been corrected. This is actually Ada Lake. And the cool part is my friends are such good friends that they reminded me very, very nicely. They didn't call me an idiot or anything. Plan for lunch. We got some cut up kielbasa sausage that's going to go in the pot of boiling water. Once that starts to boil, we throw in the shells, and once that's warm, we get that drained, and then we add the cheese. So Velveeta sausage and cheese and shells, mac and cheese and sausage shells.
Doritos on top.
starting to rain a little bit. This is actually where we came from, and instead of coming to the portage, which is right in front of me, we ended up going left, and that's the big grassy bog that we snaked through for a little while. It was a definitely type 2 fun. The shells drained, and the shells and the sausage dumped into a freezer bag. And now we squeeze the cheese. Now we squish.
It's hot.
Yeah. Whoop. That's a bit much.
And taste.
Not too bad at all. And peanut butter tortillas.
Taste it.
6 o'clock. Got back to camp and our tarp actually blew down. I mean, not crazy, just one corner. So we ended up just kind of repitching it and doing a giant lean-to, the downside facing the wind. So now the wind just kind of goes up over the top, but the fire underneath, the smoke is able to just escape along the high side. But things are starting to calm down. The lake is starting to smooth out. These are the moments where you're thankful for being here. David.
Yeah.
What's for dinner?
Pork. Korean pork, rice, grilled cauliflower, cucumber relish, Thai cucumber relish, fish sauce, sugar, rice vinegar. It's good.
It's going to be much more delicious than how he described it. Tonight's dinner from Chef Martin. We have barbecue pork tenderloin with Korean barbecue sauce, rice with soy sauce, seasoned cauliflower, and of course with a dash of jalapenos. Good morning from the Boundary Waters Canoe area. It's about 8:30, probably 38 degrees. The wind picked up overnight. We kind of made it a slow roll out to camp. And of course, it's breakfast time. 11:20, and we are southbound towards Sawbill Outfitters. It's probably about an hour and a half paddle. We got a tailwind, so it's probably faster. But when you're paddling with the wind, it seems calm. Paddling into a headwind, that's a completely different story. This trip is just about over. I want to thank you for coming along, joining us on this adventure. On behalf of Dave, Midwest Backpacker back there, and myself, appreciate you watching. Make sure to get outside, subscribe, make your own adventure, and enjoy this big, beautiful world. Look at it. You want to be out here. I'll see you.